Welcome to the buymeacoffee.com/James Poartistry, the coffee tips page that supports my James Poartistry creative productions and work. See also jamespoartistry.online.
Perceptive readers, have you ever heard someone say, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it? And that's my view with money and abundance and things of that nature. I feel anybody, the sky's the limit on how much money that they want to make. My strong encouragement is this, that as you climb the ladder or make the funds or money that you want to make sure you don't lose your humanity in the process. And then actually, with your wealth, become one of those domineering or wealthy monarchs, if you will, that would turn around and actually abuse people in different ways, even to the point of keeping them from making a living. And as I'm just telling you, like it said in the United States of America, living the American dream in the pursuit of happiness, meaning whether you become, independently wealthy or not, you are able to honestly pursue such goals without molestation from somebody, you see what I'm saying, putting their thumb or their foot on your neck to keep you from being prosperous. And I'm going to tell you another reason why I state we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Because I told you, you do have some people that they're always saying, well, what will happen in this type of situation, or we move to this even type of economical system, or what have you, economy wise, or what have you. Well, the whole point is this. You can try to prepare for something like that. This is at least in my mind. You can try to prepare for something like that all you want, but the reality is, when you get to that situation, I still think it's going to be an overall culture shock regardless for a lot of people. And so it's almost like it's just one of those things that I still feel, again, you just have to deal with it when you deal with it, because people are going to complain and people going to be unhappy or what have you, regardless. So I said, let people do and enjoy what they're doing right now, because see, if a person, no matter what situation they're in, Paul did talk about how he had learned the secret of being, basically, I'm paraphrasing, basically being wealthy and also with little money. I paraphrased the whole statement of what he was saying. Okay. Because I think I told you before in that podcast I made about, even he made a tent sometimes. And I told you that business back then, especially with the Roman army being around, oh man, you could bet people could be rich if they wanted to. If all they did was make tents, and you can be sure they did. You can be sure they did. But that's my whole point. People who already, like Paul, when he said, and I'm paraphrasing again, when he said, look, I know the secret to being wealthy and rich, and I also know the secret to being poor. In other words, he was saying, I can be happy in any situation. Now, with that being said, see, the other avenue of what I keep talking to you about does deal with charity. You see what I'm saying? Somewhere, even though Jesus said, you will always have the poor with you, but somewhere still in the scriptures, you can continually see that even with the poor around us, it gives us an opportunity to share. to help alleviate some of the pain. It also about, when we talk about donations and things of that nature, remember, even God has always had a system set up where whatever you have, whether it was livestock, even to the monetary value that Caesar prints out, you see the government, that he accepts those as gifts. So I told you, in a lot of ways, and I know some people disagree with me on this, and I respect their reasons for this. But I told you, I've had a tendency to learn a lot about persons sometimes, about what they do when they do have a lot of money. You see? And I told you, I feel people can do whatever they want with their money. They can either be, very giving with it or what have you, or they can be very stingy. And when I say stingy, I'm not talking about somebody again who already has a family. And, and we broke down before just how much even today having one or two children. Oh, and God forbid if you have more than that. I mean, no, I'm not saying, that's just an expression. You are paying large sums of money out every single month. I mean, it's enough to keep, again, a man who is not a white collar worker, and I think some white collar workers will still even complain, saying, "Still, when I get paid, look, I gotta make this much every year." And see, and the thing about it is, I want to emphasize this because I realize there's different systems set up around the world, and you don't always need as much. The inflation is not the same. But I keep mentioning, I see where they're coming from, where they're always talking about being content and things of the nature, and we are content. But I told you before, you do still have some people, and see, and they're the ones who, like Jesus said, you don't have to let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. You don't have to be blowing a bullhorn if you're giving or something like that. But see, you do have people in their lifetime who have done that, and they enjoyed doing it when they did, at least how, as Jesus would say, out of their abundance. Because I always say again, look, don't you cut into your own funds or what have you, because you got to really look at it. You have a responsibility for yourself. There's just a certain amount of money that you're still supposed to keep for yourself, and certainly supposed to take care of your family. So it is not anything you can really factor into giving to somebody else, because it literally it's already accounted for. And so that's why I tell you, you shouldn't let people make you feel guilty if you don't give in this way or that way, or how much you give, you see. So all the same, when you have a wealthy economy, when you have people who are wealthy as well, it shows, or it gives them more of an opportunity to actually show what's on their heart than someone who's in a poor condition, that all they can do is every day is think about how they're going to pay for the 3 meals that they have each day, or their family. See, there's no time to really go outside that parameter of thinking to maybe help somebody else, help another organization, even help very important peacekeeping, first responders and things. You see what I'm saying? That at least protect the little that they even have. You see, some persons give to organizations like that on a yearly basis. But guess what? Some persons no longer. Why? Because they no longer have the circumstances or the funds incoming anymore, because of a very bad, and I'm going to say negligent, economy in place. Have a wonderful day, Perceptive readers. Take care.